Welcome to Choppin It Up, a podcast powered by Journey, where we talk about free, how people got to where they are, and their career journeys, pun intended. All right, let's chop it up. Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Choppin It Up, Women's History Month edition. We are joined today by three incredible women that I have the opportunity to work with on a daily basis. Quite literally three of my favorite people. We're going to go around the horn real quick and do some quick intros. But the special edition of Choppin It Up brought to you by the Journey Squad. So I am going to pass it to Maya, then Erin, then Nikki for intros, and we'll dive in.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. I'm Maya Quijada, and I am the head of business operations here at Journey.
Hi, everyone. It's Erin Sweeney. I am head of marketing and PR at Journey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicki Bottan. I am senior recruiting advisor here at Journey.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, let's go. Congrats on the promotion, Nikki.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You had a hell of a 2024, so very well deserved.
Sure did. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So we had the opportunity to do this episode last year, which was really cool. And we talked about a bunch of different things in each of your careers as you've progressed and some of what you've done here at Journey. So we're going to pick that baton up. And this year's theme, which you all were really very, very focused on, is mentorship. So that's where we're going to kind of start here. So I would love to get a feel for how mentorship has helped shape all of your careers from this point and what you think about it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm so happy to be talking about this topic. I think we all are. Last year, I think, in a different era and mindset. I had gone through quite a bit. I mean, the topic was different in Women's History Month, where I was kind of focused on like hardship, and so it was nice to reflect on what are some beautiful moments where women have supported me and mentored me through my career. And honestly, it was so fun to think about because it was everything from, when I got pulled into advertising, one of the women I worked for at McDonald's when I was interning there in college texted me like 5 years later and just was like, I know a girl and I think she would be really good for this role. And she built that bridge for me with one text to go into this creative world that I have just so loved and making it into my career. And then in advertising itself, I had two managers that I had two moments in time where my job was really actually getting removed. We talk about like I'm the supreme generalist. So sometimes where I exist in companies is a bit of a mystery. But because of some of the female leaders and mentors I had, they saw me for who I am and my leadership skills and just willingness to learn and evolve and be part of something bigger. And they not only protected me in those moments, they helped me grow, because not only was it like, here's your next opportunity. It was like, here you go. And it's going to be tough and I'm going to root for you, but I'm here for you and I'm here by your side. And I mean, even full circle moment on that, Maya had just reached out to our team about finding, mentorship in the operations space. And one of my previous bosses and mentors is Angela Burton. She's well known in advertising. She's an operations guru, but just being able to reach out to her to be like, hey, I have someone very near and dear to me that's seeking mentorship to one of my own mentors is just, I don't know, it made me feel like really happy and special. And again, wanting to pay forward mentorship this month to other women in the industry.
I love that. Nikki, Maya?
Yeah. So when I first started in logistics, we had the mentorship program. We had the carrier mentorship program. So Y-cording with other carrier reps, learning from them really taught me the ins and outs of the business itself. And then when I got into recruiting, my mentor, Lucy Lambert, now Koslowski, she taught me everything there is to know about recruiting. So she taught me how to interview people. She taught me who would be a quality candidate versus maybe don't spend your time on this person. And everything that I know about recruiting is because I had a mentor like her. So I'm just very thankful to her and my time.
Shout out Lucy Lambert. We were in the same training class at Coyote. She's the real deal. Let's go. I love that.
I just have to say, it's so cool to see how your faces light up when you talk about those mentors, and it just shows how deep it runs when you have a connection like that. In my personal experience, I feel like I have been able to get a lot of mentorship from friendships, and I think that by the nature of how women tend to connect in their friendships, it goes so deep and dark, and it makes possibilities to connect for career opportunities and on a personal front. So I've had a few really strong mentors in my adult life that I started out as friends and started talking career and said, is it okay if we talk about our jobs a little bit? And that has yielded such amazing results for me. I
love the personal side of it because taking a step back and realizing mentorship isn't just have to be professional, there's life out here. So even upon reflection, it was my mom. My mom is one of 6 girls. I have I have 8 female cousins that are all older than me, surrounded by people I get to look up to that are helping guide me to live a better life. And I think, it's really special to reflect on that this month.
I love it. So here's a good question. This one will probably get a little spicy. It's good. So we're all in freight. Freight is a very male-dominated space. And when you think about how our team supports each other and then how other women may support you in the space, any thoughts about how you all can lift each other up in a very male-dominated space?
Yeah, I feel like in any industry, there are catty women as well as catty men too. And something for women just to take away from that is just to be a genuine girl's girl, have other women's backs. It's very important, especially just lifting each other up. You can do it across social media. You can do it in an email. You can do it personally. That's the way that I think.
I agree. On that note, I think it's removing the competition mindset, which is interesting for this team because we're a very competitive bunch, but it means more so person to person. And rather than a competitive mindset, it's embracing more of a community mindset maybe. And I'm very big on abundance. There is opportunity for all of us. I'm also reading Let Them Theory. I don't know if anyone's heard about it. Let Them Hear. It's by Mel Robbins. She's a really great podcaster. But in this one chapter of her book, it talks about comparing yourself to others. And I think that's where a lot of people professionally, and I think particularly women, it's at least been my experience, is that kind of rotten competitive nature rather than lifting each other up. But if someone's maybe getting ahead of you and they seem like they're more organized or they're just performing better or they have better results, instead of being oh, dang, that should be me. It's well, I could, I can. And you can use it as motivation and also be happy for that person in their success, because also believer in karma, right? And so what goes around comes around. But again, just abundance, and that there's opportunity for everyone, everywhere. You just have to keep your eyes open and keep a positive attitude.
Here's one thing that I guess as a male in this space and a leader in this space, especially with the team that we have and what we're building, to me, I want people to get opportunities. I want you to get the opportunities to lead. I want you to get opportunities to try scary stuff and fail, don't fail, figure it out. That's the only way that you grow. And I think about people that have taken chances on me earlier in my career when I probably wasn't, air quotes, ready for it. But they're yo, you got to step up to bat and try to figure it out. I want to make sure we also, leaders that are males in the space, advocate for people to go get opportunities. And I don't know that always happens as often as it should. And I want to continue to see our group advocate for each other to go step up and whatever. Sometimes things are tough and they're a little bit outside of your scope, but that's the only way that you grow. It's really cool, at least for me, to see you all do that for each other. And also in social settings, at happy hours, to see you all connect with other people and really lift them up and get to see some of those interactions. So I think those are great ways to support the next step. The only way to get there is to kind of have some people that have your back a little bit. It's kind of a big deal.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Totally. Okay, so question about a leadership lesson. When you think about just leadership in general, what are some tough leadership lessons that you may have learned that helped you develop as a professional?
I'll jump in here. So I think one thing that comes to mind is just that talking and acting like the people who came before you doesn't necessarily always get you to the next level. I think what Nicki was alluding to before about maybe there being catty people in the space or internal competition amongst women or amongst people in general, that if you are replicating things that you've seen before and repeating those processes to those who are coming up after you, you're not actually reaching a hand out. You're closing the door behind you. And so to aspire to be like people who you want to have similar careers to is a good thing. And yet you still need to inspect that and make sure that you are proactively working toward mentorship. And one thing that came to mind during that whole conversation about mentorship is that mentorship is a verb. It's not grammatically, but it is in practice, because you do need to do the outreach. You do need to get the FaceTime. You do need to have the difficult conversations and have transparency about pay and job responsibilities and opportunities.
Absolutely. I think kind of going off of that is not everybody is going to agree with you or like you, and that's perfectly okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad leader by any means. It sometimes you have to have those tough conversations because it's the right thing to do.
Something for me was you can't do everything yourself. Definitely try to do that a lot in my life. Very independent, very go-getter. And I think one of the biggest lessons was like, you can still be all of those things, but having not only support around you, but people who are better than you at things that you just really aren't that good at, but maybe have like too much pride or whatever it is. And it's kind of symbolic of this team, right? I think everybody has their own superpower. Like, you've done a great job of curating people to be in those seats. And I'm learning to do the same in my other ventures, because when I've tried to do it all, there's been some failures there, but from failures, you always are evolving and learning.
Absolutely. A lot of the best lessons come sometimes on the other side of defeat or failure and whatnot, but that's part of the process. So when you think about where all three of you all are today in your careers, are there some things that you would tell a younger version of yourself from a career advice perspective?
Yeah, I think I smile because it's very similar to what Erin just said. You can't be everything to everyone. And that being weird is good, and it's okay to be your real self. You know, that authenticity helps you connect and get a lot further than just trying to be somebody else. There's already everyone else.
I would love to ride off of that, because mine was like, I wish I didn't suppress my like creativeness as a human being. I think as a kid, like a lot of my hobbies, interests were something creative, whether it was like makeup, photography, like everything was always creative, storytelling. And I just was like, no, I have to go to like business school and just go make money. You know, like you can't do those things and like build a career of like passion and interest, which is so not true, right? Like there's so many people doing interesting things. And that's the cool part about entrepreneurship, is like you can do really whatever you want. It's just the consistency and making your dreams become a reality. But I wish I could like hug little Erin sometimes and say like, just be who you are, fight for what you want. But where I am at now, I've never really felt more true to that, and more excited for like what's to come and start implementing some of those passions. And a lot of them are implemented within the Journey brand. It's a playground for the creative side of things, and it's growing and it's madness and it's fun. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, I don't think I would change a damn thing about anything in my past, mainly because it wouldn't have brought me to where I am today. Like, I think everything happened for a reason. Everything happened how it should have been. And if anything would have changed, I may not be sitting here today. So that's probably why I wouldn't change a thing.
I love it. I love it. So let's think about trends in freight. So, Nicki, you've been in freight for quite some time, and Maya and Erin vicariously through Papa Sweeney for a bit, but have come to love and know the space the last 18 months or so. One of the things that we chatted about as a question here would be any trends that you would like to see change, or things that you'd like to see over the next 5 or 10 years for women in the transportation industry?
I think that culture is top down. And so having organizations kind of walk the walk and educate folks about what is going on, things like women not speaking up in meetings, or, being the ones to volunteer to take notes or order the food or whatever it is. I think that's really important. Another kind of item that I'm pretty passionate about is inclusive parental leave for all genders. I don't think it has to be a person giving birth who gets parental leave. Just hiring young women the same way we hire inexperienced people of all genders, because we all started somewhere.
To kind of piggyback off of Maya's first point, I mean, letting women's voices be heard and letting them have their ideas that are good ideas that need to be out there. Something that I really never experienced until I was at Journey was having my voice be heard, and my opinion does matter. And I do have things of value to say and to share, and having that sense of safety with the team here at Journey has really made an impact.
Yeah, like you said, sorry, well, go ahead. I feel like you had something.
I was just going to say, hell yeah. That was it.
Worth the pause. But yeah, I just was thinking more women in leadership. I think we're seeing more. I think, a trend is the more female founders that we're seeing. And I would love to see more of that within the industry. But similar to both, see the female as your teammate, it's not just this rarity in the room. No, that is part of the team. That is a mind that has something to say, and statistically will help empower your company. So I just more of that, more females in the force for sure.
I want to answer this one. I feel compelled to, because of the makeup of our team, which is mostly women. And I think that is a large part of why we have seen success early on. We have a really good dynamic of a lot of perspectives. Some work, some don't. Some ideas are good, some are bad, but it's a lot of different perspectives from a lot of different backgrounds led by women. I love it. I want to see more of it. I would like our organization to continue to be a front-running organization, giving women opportunities to go and figure out what they want to build and have the confidence to go do that thing. But Maya, you mentioned that just giving people the opportunities the same way you would across the board, that really matters, because there's no way to learn and grow if you don't get a shot to try. And that's a big deal. How do you get an executive leadership role if you haven't had the opportunity to rise through the ranks and do the other stuff? You probably don't. So I feel very passionately about that, because I see what our team is able to accomplish, and I'm yeah, more of this, more, very much so more.
Absolutely.
Any women in freight, leaders in freight that you look up to, or people that you enjoy learning from or seeing in the space?
Yes. I love Carrie. I don't want to say her last name wrong. Jablonski, is that right?
Yeah.
And Megan Massoud. I love both of them so much. They're always at our happy hours. But since the moment I met them, a year and a half ago, and the things that those women are accomplishing is amazing to watch on LinkedIn every time we have an update. And they're just making a difference in the industry and in the world. They're just leading with so much passion, and they deserve all the platforms and their voices to be heard. And I know that they're inspiring women in the industry for sure.
I have favorites too, but they're the same. Really, I love Carrie. I've learned so much from her. She's incredible. I also got to shout out my hot pod trainer, Jayanne. She is the chief strategy officer now at Arrive. Absolute. Listen, when you want to talk about
Our team. I love our team. I'm biased, but duh. I like genuinely love this team so much, and it's been great, like through ups and downs, but like we're growing together again. Like even when things go south, you go up higher. And I think that's the beautiful thing about this team, because with the journeys, it's tough. It's like great. We're having so much fun, but it's tough because we're growing and we're growing fast. It's like a elite entrepreneurial experience, and we're figuring it out together, but we have each other. And I wouldn't be the same without the women on this team and the team collectively, of course, you, Will, and Justin and Calvin, but like, it's special. It feels very safe and able to be yourself. And I have not felt that way before on a team with many women, so I don't take it for granted one bit.
I have a unique journey question. Oh, Maya, go ahead. I think you're about to say something.
I think we could also shout out the women who have come on the podcast. I feel like we've had a lot of really awesome women come on the podcast, like Christy Knitchell and Abby Haffenbrettel. And I know I'm forgetting more, but I have been lucky to meet some of these women over the past year and a half. I'm really excited through our mentorship initiative to meet some more. Liz Wayne
was on my list.
Wow.
Becky. Oh my God. I would probably got so much trouble if I didn't say, I love you, Becky. That's my girl.
Founder TAT Logistics.
Yeah.
She's a real deal.
Super.
Yeah. You guys stole my list, but from LinkedIn, Liz Wayne, obviously we just said her. And then also I've been following Camille Gaines for quite some time as well.
Yeah.
I just love to be a creep on LinkedIn and look at all these women's updates. Like that is what I do while I'm sourcing, while in between interviews, whatever it may be. So yeah.
I love that. I got a couple more that I got a chance to meet in person for the first time a while back. So I met Melanie Patterson in person at the JLC conference probably 4 or 5 months ago. She's a real deal. Incredible to see the business she's building. And same thing with Shay Lynn Dixon. I met her at Manifest. She had an opportunity to speak there and has done a ton of speaking engagements. So there are so many good people to follow in this space. So many incredibly successful women that are leading from the front. So I love it.
Nothing but love.
Yeah. I have a very journey specific question for the three of you, since we live in this very chaotic world of a startup. So what would you say you've learned working in the chaos of a fast paced, I would say not high pressure, but our expectations as a group are very high. Like we hold each other to a very high standard for the work that we do in all regards. What have you learned, and how would you say that's impacted you when you think about just growing as a professional? Because I don't know that everybody gets a chance to like work in a startup, and like it's a small team. Like everything we do matters. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. I would say setting processes for for everything having to do with journey was major, and holding ourselves accountable. That definitely made me grow as a person. That was something that was never really ingrained in me in past experiences that I've been in. So holding myself accountable to certain standards as well as journey standards, and just being able to try to be the best that I can every single day.
I love that. I think for me, it would be like, don't be afraid to ask for help. I think when it is competitive and there's high standard, like sometimes that feels a little intimidating. It's like admitting, a fault almost, but it's just not true. It's not the right way to look at it. And if you just need support, like this is the team that's there to offer support. Because as much as we are go-getters and we can get a lot done, we're only human at the end of the day. And luckily we're surrounded by really great humans that are there to help each other.
I think that for all my perfectionists out there, a really important lesson that I've learned is that done is better than perfect. Often the getting it out there, getting it on paper is the first and second draft. And also just that over communicating isn't over communicating at all, because especially in a remote environment, the Journey team, we're all remote, we're spread across the whole world. There can always be little details that are kind of lost. And if you are able to be highly detailed and have a process, it really helps you down the line. And then we're not bottlenecked because we were working on something completely wrong the whole time. And I think that goes along with what Erin said about asking for help. It's like, it's likely that you aren't as stuck as you realize that you are.
I love it. I've learned a lot from each of you and the chaos of what we do, but it, I think, elevates the work, because we all care deeply, but like we know the standard. And so, you got to bring the heat, but it's not easy by any means. We have some fun questions. So go to hype song, maybe before a speaking engagement, before a sales call, big meeting. What are we listening to?
One of my warm-up songs in college was this, it's dope. It's this mashup of Red Hot Chili Peppers and Lil Wayne to Lollipop, and it gets me going.
Incredible.
Yep.
I think I know what you're talking about, Erin.
So good.
I'm like, was that on my old iPod Shuffle back in the day?
That's incredible.
I will drop it in the podcast summary for everyone to listen to.
Huge.
Lately, I've been on repeat listening to Bad Bunny's new album. That has been pumping me up lately.
Nuevo Yo.
Yes.
Well,
I'm anything Lady Gaga. I've fan till I die. I've been really into Doechii lately. She's amazing. Somebody so innovative and creative.
that Spotify playlist the team has is going to be quite across the board. There's a lot of different songs. That's
the playlist you want. If you want 100%. That playlist, you get in our inbox and we'll send it to you.
I love it. So let's think about something over the last however long you want to think back in your career that was unexpectedly really, really cool or unexpectedly like really gratifying. You're like, man, that was really cool to see. Anything that you all can think of?
I just thought of this maybe because I thought of Becky, but one of my favorite moments this year was we were doing marketing consulting for TAT and they needed help designing one of their trucks. And then we went and saw the truck and it was so cool. I was like a kid at a candy store and it was one of those like, how did we get here? We went from a phone call to like, man, what could life look like if we took a bet on ourselves to designing really cool looking trucks for the industry? That just popped in my head. But yeah, that was one of my very favorite moments so far of the Journey creative side of the business.
Seeing something that you created on a truck is wild.
Yeah. It's so cool. We did it.
Yeah.
So I would say unexpected that happened to me was I was on a phone call with somebody that I formerly worked with at a Coyote, JJ, and we were just chit-chatting and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a job. And he was like, well, I have a call with Will Jenkins later. I'm going to give him your information. And I was like, I don't know who that is, but okay. And then he connected us via email. And the next week we were on our first interview and 3 months later I got hired into Journey. And I think that was the coolest thing that happened. Honestly, I love this company.
Love it.
Love to be here.
Power
that makes me so happy. Love that.
I went with the more unexpected. And the reason, so when I was in college, I went to school in Boston at Northeastern University, and we had a pretty strong co-op program, which is a more integrated version of an internship. And I was set to work for Amnesty International. And the week before my start date, I got news that the office was closing. And in the moment, it felt like the whole world was ending, that I had been working toward that my whole life. And that that was definitely my career trajectory, but it made me learn so much about being nimble and about like reimagining what I'm capable of and working with the options in front of me, that it just totally put me on a different path. I ended up working in an advertising job for a little bit, which was so different than anything I had considered. And it just, all of the connections and the people that I met along the way are because something that I really wanted didn't work out. It's strange to think about that.
Mm-hmm. Everything happens for a reason.
For sure. I had one other I was hoping to mention too before the lovely truck popped into my head. But I mentioned this like briefly earlier, but when I was like almost let go, there were 2 times in advertising, and it was by the same man. And both times I was, my female managers found me a new role within 24 hours. And with like a better opportunity and everything. I just wanted to like bring it back to like the female topic because I was like, that's so badass, you know, and I hope to like pay forward that someday and just continue to help someone grow that you believe in. You know, sometimes when you don't even believe in yourself, there's so many people out there that believe in you and guide you and keep your chin up, you know? So yeah, kind of unexpected but a little funny too. So very grateful for them.
That's awesome. You made me think of something that we've talked about in different podcasts that we've done, which is the difference between like mentorship and advocacy. And so I think this is an important one to kind of jam on a little bit because I've mentored people and I have advocated for people. And those are 2 different things. And like those people that you just mentioned there that found opportunities in the organization for you went to bat and advocated for Erin to find the right thing because she should be in this organization and there's a need to figure that out. That is probably the biggest piece of finding ways to like help people move. So any thoughts from the 3 of y'all on advocacy? Because it is certainly, it's not easy. It's work, but it's the next level, you know, when you tier up from a mentorship perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that's a good point to bring it up. I think for me, the opportunity almost hasn't presented itself. Like through Journey 2, it's one of the first experience I've had like direct like management and having people work under me, but I loved it, you know, and I'm excited for the moment to go to bat and fight for that. And I love the mentorship of it too, where it's like teaching and showing the way. But I don't know that I've done my part yet as an advocate, but the door is open because I'm really enjoying the mentorship education side of seeing anyone grow that we're able to help guide.
Yeah, to kind of go off of Erin's point a little bit, I have never really been in a work environment where anybody has advocated for me. So I'm itching to advocate for other people, especially other women, other people who are doing well, and other people who I'm on their side. I'm never going to be that mean person who doesn't have your back. If it's for the best interest of the company, the best interest of what we're doing and what we believe in, I'm always going to have your back no matter what. And I just can't wait to do that advocacy for somebody else.
I think you do that now because you're an incredible recruiter. And I think oftentimes having good conversations with both candidates and clients, like when you're talking to a client, you're advocating for the person that you feel is a fit for that role and like helping them understand why it may be. And I mean, I see it all day, every day. I see you like advocating for the people that you're working with, and not because you are focused on like placing that role. It's like, you know that this person is a fit for what that client's looking for, and you're finding ways to make sure that like that person gets taken care of. So you're more of an advocate than you probably know. I see it every day, all day, every day.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, thank you.
I think also just kind of to add to the conversation that advocacy is something that is really rewarding on both sides. And to be able to, I can speak as somebody who has been advocated for. the amount of self-worth and personal growth that occurs when you see somebody putting themselves on the line for you, the way that you're willing to level up because you're doing it for something that you now know you're not the only one who believes in. I think that is so important and so special. And, Will, I really appreciate you doing that for us as individuals. For me personally, it means everything. And I know that I am such a stronger person who will be able to do that in such impactful ways because of the opportunities that have been afforded to me.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. It's one of my favorite phrases. So that gets me really excited because my favorite thing about entrepreneurship is more about the people that you get the opportunity to spend time impacting and less about whatever the service or business is. I love transportation. I love the work we do. We have really cool clients we work with, really cool candidates. But I love our team, right? I love each of you. You're incredible people that work really hard. And I get to see first, just front row growth and development and all of those things. And I'll put my neck out there all day. I'll run through a fucking wall for each of you all day. Just point me at the direction, right? And like seeing you all take that on and go, yeah, like I'm with that. I will do this to get to where there's nothing more exciting. That's my favorite part about entrepreneurship is because you get to advocate for your people and like go see them do incredible things. It's the best.
It is
hard work and it's worth it.
100%. Glad to be here and glad to be offering mentorship this month too. And I was like, oh, can't forget the plug. But yeah, us three will be offering different mentorship sessions. I'll be offering marketing and Maya will be offering operations and Nicki recruiting. So we will include a link everywhere. You'll see us in our content bubbles talking about it, but join in no matter what. And it can be topic specific or just leadership in general or just being a female in the freight industry. We want to hear from everyone and continue to build a community here at Journey.
Oh yeah. Before we wrap, any closing thoughts, comments, anything from each of y'all?
I'm just really proud of this whole team, proud to be a female on this team. I think as an entrepreneur, there have been for a year and a half, right before I was on the corporate ladder, I've actually felt being a female more in the entrepreneurial world and the differences a little bit there. And it can be hard, and staying authentic is what we are doing here at Journey with everything we do. And it's great to be backed by that and to be able to remain exactly as we are and continue to pave the path forward.
Just love you guys so much.
I feel that
cry.
Too.
I'm going to cry. I appreciate each of y'all so much and being vulnerable enough to talk about tough stuff and celebrate the wins and be there for each other. I see it all day, every day. You all take care of each other nothing I've ever seen. It's incredible to watch, which I think creates the cool dynamic and the amazing business that we're building. But thank you for being great leaders for everyone, but specifically women in entrepreneurship, women in leadership, women in freight. I look forward to seeing what this group looks like in years to come, because I know that it will only continue to grow. And that has a lot to do with each of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Catch y'all later.